Welcome to the SketchUp Academy Toolbox Series Part 3, the Circle Tool. As in the other videos, I'm going to want to have you go to the large tool set, which is gettable from the View menu under Toolbars, and go down and find the large tool set here with the check mark. So check that. Typically, if you're just starting with SketchUp, this large tool set is probably not going to be open. So this is important because here are the majority of the tools you're going to use in SketchUp to draw your model. So make sure you get that open. The other way to find it is to right-click on any toolbar in SketchUp, and you'll get the same list here essentially. That drops down, and there's a large tool set with it checked. So you can go through these and check the ones you want or uncheck the ones you don't want and move on from there, which is what we're going to do here. We'll move on to the circle tool. It's in the large tool set right below the rectangle tool. So you click on that and you'll get ready to draw a circle. So we'll do that. Click on the circle tool. And you'll get a little blue circle that'll come out centered on the pencil tool here in this case. I'm going to click on origin just because it makes it easy. You can draw it really wherever you'd like. Click once to set the center point of the circle. Pull out. Don't drag. You just click once and let go. Pull out and click again to set the radius. Click once, pull out, set the radius. Click once, pull out, set the radius. What I'd like you to see is that a circle is not perfect in SketchUp. It has many sides. It is a single object. If you select it, it will all be selected, but it is not perfect. It's essentially kind of a polygon, a polyline, if you will. There are numerous sides on a circle. I'm going to draw one again, but you can control the number of sides. And let's look at controlling the radius and the number of sides because they're essentially the same general function. So click, pull out, click to set. If you notice in the VCB down here that we were looking at in previous videos, there is information. It tells me that I'm 6'11" and 1/8 inch radius. And note that it says radius over here now instead of length or dimensions. So again, when you use different tools, this nomenclature down here will change. Right now I'm at 6'11" and 1/8 inch radius. If I typed in 7 feet, and you can see it show up in the VCB down there, and hit enter, that tells me now that I have a 7-foot radius circle, 14-foot diameter, if you will. Type in 2'6", and I got a 30-inch radius, 7'4", 4" radius. But I still have this rough circle. I can fix that. I can control the number of sides that are on this circle by typing in a number with S suffix added to it. So let's say I want to make this 40 sides instead of 24, which is the standard SketchUp circle. That's what you'll get if you don't change anything. 40S, S is in Sam, 40S, hit enter, and you can see that circle smooth out. If I type in, say 60S, it becomes more refined. So if you're drawing something that needs this kind of refinement, you can control it. I can type in as little as 3S and get a triangle, 4S for a square. Now these are shapes that are inscribed inside the circle, so the points of the circle are actually out here on the square. It's still considered a circle, believe it or not. Note that when I draw another circle, if you will, it keeps drawing a square. So the number of sides I put in here will be retained by SketchUp for the next circle that you draw. You can go ahead and change that back, but watch. I'm going to get now a circle again. I think they changed that. That used to be something that hung in there for the next time you came and draw a circle. So I think they've fixed that. It used to just hang on to that information. We'll type in 40S here. To select a circle, just click on it with the cursor, and you can move this around with the Move tool. So I don't have to pick all the edges to do this. The face knows there's an edge there. I can delete the face if I like. I just picked it with the cursor, left-clicked on it, and hit the Delete key. One thing I want you to notice or see is that the eraser tool will not erase a face. I'm clicking on this like crazy, and that face won't go away. So what do you do when you want that to go away? Click on it. You can do two things. One, right-click and pick Erase from the context menu, which will work. Or click on it and hit the Delete key on your keyboard, and it'll go away. That's true with any face, not just a circle. If you extrude this circle with the Push-Pull tool, you get a cylinder. Fairly obvious, I guess. What you can't see, though, is that this cylinder, the faces of this cylinder are exactly that. They are faces. If you click on it at this point, it's going to look like one solid surface, which is the idea. You want it to look that way. But if you go to the View menu and you click on Hidden Geometry up here, you're going to see that a circle, or the cylinder in this case, is actually made up of a bunch of individual faces. Those are the direct result of the number of faces that you have on the circle when you drew it. These faces are manipulable, that's a big word, individually, if you like. For example, with the Push-Pull tool, you can pull these out and get something kind of gear-like, I suppose. You can push them in. So with hidden geometry on, the faces that are created on the side of that circle are actually all something you can work with individually. I'll back up here a little bit. If circles cross each other, like so, yep, drew that one up in space. Sorry about that. I don't know how I managed to do that. I guess I was drawing on that blue axis. It cuts all of these things into separate faces, just like the rectangle tool or the line tool. If I drew a line across here, it would do the same thing. So all of these faces now are able to be manipulated with the Push-Pull tool separately. Which again, if you think about what we talked about in the previous two videos, that's the whole idea in SketchUp. So if you're into circular buildings and you want to find some interesting shapes, I wouldn't be as arbitrary as I am here, but you can do that quite easily. So we'll go back over this. That's about all there is to the circle tool. It's not very complex. It draws circles pretty straightforward. But to do it, again, C is the shortcut, which I highly recommend using shortcuts if you can keep in mind what they are. They're pretty simple. L for line, R for rectangle, C for circle, A is for arc, which will be our next video. So click, drag out. Let's not call it drag, let's call it pull. Click, and then set the radius. Here we'll type in 4'6", hit enter. I can now, as long as I'm in the same cycle, I can change the number of sides. We'll change it to 12S. Say you're drawing bolts or something like that. 6S is good, and it gives you a hexagonal shape for a bolt head. So keep that in mind when you're trying to draw these polygonal shapes, you can get them. This, just like the regular circle, is going to operate the same way. If I turn off hidden geometry, view hidden geometry, that becomes a single face. With hidden geometry on, you can see the split, but it's still not truly a single faces or individual faces as much as you like, because they're, denoted by these hidden lines, if you will. So you take a line tool and you draw over those edges, you will actually get what you think it should look like in the first place. So now I have what you might call a bolt head. This now still has a center point. It should. Yes. To find the center point of a circle, let's make it please work. You can see it wants to find it, but it doesn't want me to. There it is. Sometimes I find I have to draw a line out in the middle, but you can start to create some rather interesting shapes with this. Maybe that's a nut with or a bolt with a nut on it, something of that sort. One other thing you can do that I kind of appreciate, or I do appreciate a lot, so there's a tool called offset, which we'll get into further. But offset is this guy down here, which is kind of two arcs with an arrow in it, or it's F for offset, believe it or not. You can offset that edge wherever you'd like, just drag it out, and it's going to want you to try to find it again. But if I use the move tool here, and I pull this up on the blue axis, it doesn't really do much. But if I hit the up arrow key, what happens is it now connects all that geometry together and gives you essentially a tapered cylinder. Kind of a nice little thing to work with in terms of circles. So keep that in mind if you're trying to do something unusual with these kind of conical shapes. Select that surface in the center that you offset. Use move, tap the up arrow key, or left or right if you're going left or right, and pull up, holding down the mouse button, hold up and just let go when you're done. You can also scale this tool, and we'll get into the scale tool later, where you can change the shape of that. That's about it for the circle tool for today. We'll get on to the arc tool, which is kind of a derivation of the circle tool. Thanks for coming by to our Toolbox series, and you guys have a great day.